Okay, so let's just start, excuse me, from where we left off last time. At the end of the last one, we had what we think is going to be a functioning MatchChar class. We have our interface for what things are that match, and so far we have a context that tells us, well, print out prettily what's happening. So let's do the following. I'm not going to go through the motions of making a separate test project. I'm just going to make a dummy class in here that's public that will have a bunch of tests in it that we can run. So let's add a class, and I'll call them iMatchTests. And I wish this was not sorted this way by default. So this will be a public static class iMatchTests, and it's going to contain a list of tests that I want to run. So let's just create a single test, I guess. Let's try and create a context and try and match a character to it and see what happens. So public static void test match. I'll just do it like this. So MatchChar matches single character. Whatever. I don't really care about making it all proper. Okay, so let's create a context. So var context equals new context, and we will match the string. Let's do AAA. But we'll start with a lot of things that are very simple like this, and they will get more interesting later. You know what else I want to do? Instead of just a context, let me rename this to match context. That way we're totally consistent. And yes, I do. Okay. All right. So let's come, I'll just pin this over here. Got our char over here. All right. So var MatchChar equals, or sorry, let's call it item equals new MatchChar and character A. So what could we do? We could do something like console.writeLine. In fact, let's just bring that in using static system.console. So let's just write whatever the context is. And then let's say item.match context. So how about this? And this will become sort of a structure we're going to reuse, which is why I'm going through it this way. So if it matches, then we will say WriteLine matched successfully. I'll just say match success. And otherwise, we did not. WriteLine match failed. Something like that. Again, difficult to type apparently. So I will display the state of the context. I will then try to match and see what happens and tell you what happened. And then after that, we will write the result. Show the state of the context after that's happened, right? So if I flip over to my program here, which I want to be in this tab group, then instead of doing this, let's just call iMatchTest.this. Okay? So let's go ahead and try and run this and just see if I got lucky typing something the first time. Okay. So there we are, right? Started off at 0, and then we issued a match on it. Match succeeded, and if I relook at the current context, I can see that it has in fact advanced all the way to the end. And so that's good. Maybe another sort of thing we could do, and I have a little scribble, sorry, I have some notes here off to the side of the way that I was testing them, and I found it to be really, really useful. So one of the things that I like to do, or was helpful for me, was to run through these and sort of iterate through all of the possible matches for the pattern, and then sort of observe it going through all the different permutations. That way we can make sure that it's kind of trying all the different types of matches that we want it to try. So that'll make a little more sense here in a second, and I'll probably start speaking better once I'm not also reading papers to make sure I do what I think I'm doing. Okay, so let's do this then. So we've tried to do this, that succeeded. What's something else we could do? Well, we could do this again, except now that I've already matched, let's pretend like I'm being backtracked into. So this token's already matched, but the guy upstream of me failed, and so the backtracking algorithm is going to come in here and say, can you do something else? And we know that this guy shouldn't, but by the time it's done, it should put me back to that pointer, or to that location, and I should be okay. So if I run this, we could see that the match succeeded, right? I was there and I advanced to here, and then match next failed, and it did correctly restore the pointer and the state of the context back to where it was when the character matched, or, oh, sorry, the first time it was about to match. So, okay, so that's that. What I'll do is I will stop this video here because it's short, and then we will move on to starting to do little lists of them and do some repetition. But this is sort of going to be the sort of style that will be helpful, I think, for me. That's just the way I'm going to do it, to sort of print this stuff out to the screen, and let's start building some more interesting stuff. All right, later.